This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to My Worst Day. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And we are excited to be back with you guys, but what we're not excited about is recording remotely again.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm not going to lie. I hate not being in the room with you guys. I mean, right now we're recording on together mode on Skype, and it's so bizarre.
Oh,
I'm still in together mode.
dude, that's so funny. That's why you guys couldn't see anything. I was like, what are you guys talking about? I'm like, I got to put you guys back on a regular view.
I need
Oh,
to,
it's terrible.
I'm still in together as well. So yeah. No, we're recording remotely because finally COVID has touched our group. And so we are
Neither of us, though.
No,
None of us.
None of us.
Thank God.
So yeah, thank God. But yeah, we're doing the safe thing, but I gotta say it's hard.
Yeah.
It's real hard.
We're still over here like the fucking Matrix. Got that Matrix wind on.
I know.
Yeah, I did test immediately after. So we'd had a friend of ours who we were all with last weekend test positive and let us all know. So I tested immediately. It was negative. I'll probably test again next week and just see. But I'm feeling fine and I got a negative test. So I still think somehow COVID has avoided me or is avoiding me. Maybe it doesn't like me. I'm starting to feel like it has a grudge against me.
Yeah. Is it me?
Is it me, COVID?
I mean, but how does it feel to be better than
Than everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that Pfizer understood the assignment with my body, apparently.
Yep.
I don't know, because I'm in the same
Same.
place. I tested negative. Chris tested negative, thank God. But we're still trying to play it safe, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I did have to leave the house yesterday for a doctor, but
You know my immune system is working overtime because I got Johnson & Johnson initially. I got that Moderna booster, but I had
Yes.
Johnson & Johnson and still have managed to not get COVID. It is a miracle.
I heard that's the way to do it, though. I heard J&J up front, and then the Moderna booster is the best combination. That's what I keep hearing. So who knows?
Wow. I mean, I would give it a 10 out of 10
You're
from
like,
personal experience. So
you're like, swipe right.
I've been Pfizer the whole way, and honestly, they're working overtime because the call is coming from inside the house, ladies.
It's knocking literally at your door.
Yes.
The call is coming from inside the house.
And so yeah, my Pfizer is like a super shield right now. So hey, I have no complaints, no regrets.
No regrets.
So
I am on the struggle bus over here with feeling like we're locked back down. Like I am struggling because we are like self-quarantining. So we're really not going anywhere.
Yep.
And I am getting so restless. Like all those things that worked in the beginning of the pandemic are not working. Those coping mechanisms are not working.
I've watched all of every single streaming platform that has been invented thus far. So yeah, we have played all of the games.
Yeah.
We have gone through everything that there is to do. So, I mean, I had a moment yesterday where I blacked out for 2 hours on TikTok. Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Just
That'll happen.
No.
complete disassociation from the world. Woke up and I was like, oh my God, I've been on this for 2 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've seen I'm almost to the point where I feel like I'm going to finish TikTok now too.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with myself after that.
Well, you can join our not existent book club.
That's exactly what the fuck I'm gonna do. When you guys were talking about it, it was getting me so jazzed. I was like, something new to do. Yes, please.
Oh, yeah. I mean, reading is what's getting me through right now, for real. Like, reading is what's getting me by. My nightstand, I went and renewed my library card.
Yes.
That's where I'm at. I
Nice.
live walking distance from the library. And so I just walked down there and I was like, listen, I have not been to the library in years. Like, am I
love
still
this.
on record?
Love a library.
And they looked and I was still on record, but my library card expired in 2016. That's how long it has been
Wow.
since I've stepped foot in a library.
They're like,
so I was
"Welcome
like,
back,
can you
ma'am."
please? I know.
You finished
And so I
Netflix,
checked
huh?
out like 3 books. It was
I-
awesome.
Just had a visceral like smell memory when you said library.
Yes.
It used to be we would go every
Totally.
week to the library as a kid. I would check out the maximum number of books. I would read all of them, and they all libraries smell the same. It is a magical
Yes.
like book smell that my olfactory nerves were like wink, they like lit
Yep.
up.
Ugh. Yeah, and also it's not just about the smell of the library. There is something about the feeling of the library that like
yes.
quiet, where everybody is just kind of together reading in silence and just being surrounded by books like that. Like, it was
Yeah.
awesome. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna walk up there, all the time now. And
Mhm.
it's been such a godsend. I'm so happy that
What
we've
a lovely
decided to-
reminder,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Of like this wonderful resource that we have that has been largely forgotten, that you can go and you can get books for free.
For free.
Hashtag socialism. Hi.
Oh my gosh. No, that makes me think of the thing that you guys sent in the chat earlier where it's like, bitch, I don't read or whatever. It was like we were talking
Oh,
about
yeah. Chris did that. Yeah.
yeah, like those like non-physical traits or whatever that are big turnoffs. And like for me, that is definitely one. Like somebody is like, I don't like to read.
Oh,
That's kind of a turn off for me, like non-physical trait that I
Where-
can think of.
on the other hand, I am very much attracted to somebody. Like, so things that I'm like attracted to are people who are good, like well read. Like, I love having conversations with somebody who can. I mean, it's definitely one of the reasons that I was attracted to Chris, for sure, hands down.
Yeah, because someone can read books that I might necessarily not love. You know what I mean? But then
That's right.
having a conversation about what got to them about the book, like that's a great conversation to have with a partner. And, you get to see their point of view on what they're reading. It's hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Yeah, I think a turnoff for me in general is just when people have no interest in learning new things. I think that that's really the thing, because it's not just books, although I do, as someone who loves to read and grew up loving to read, I do love somebody who loves to read. But I also love somebody who likes discovering new music or finding new subjects that they're really interested in and get them really like revved up,
Passion.
like that to me, wanting to learn and that like desire for knowledge is really sexy to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. You nailed it. Like, it doesn't have to be books. Books is just a thing that I can relate to. And I think that it speaks to me. But you're absolutely right. Like, somebody who's discovering new, facets of the world and wants to explore them with you, whether it be like exploring a new park and being an outdoorsy person, just somebody who has passion about something, like that's very sexy.
Passion is sexy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. It's just like any kind of like, if you are passionate about something, that's sexy.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, we've all, I think, dated that person that wasn't into anything.
Anything?
My ex was really like that. And
Apathy.
yeah,
Ugh.
apathetic. Ugh. Yeah.
Nothing's worse.
No.
Well, I mean,
Well,
I'm sure there is something worse, but apathetic is.
We've been doing this podcast a while. I think that there probably are things that are worse, but
For for sure.
Well, I feel like we need to talk about this because I feel like there are certain couples who you just root for. It's just like ingrained in the zeitgeist in popular culture that like you just want them to succeed. It just like says something about you personally if they can make it. You know what I mean? And I really think that Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa were one of those couples for a lot of us. Like we were like, they're like so beautiful together. They have this wonderful blended family where Lenny Kravitz seems to be very involved and Zoe Kravitz seems to love Jason Momoa. And they've been together for 16 years. And I think that we were just like, they're doing the thing. You're doing it, Peter. Peter. And so they did announce their split this week after 5 years of marriage and 16 years together. And while I'm very sad, I will say that I do like this new trend that we're seeing. I hate to call it a trend, but like a lot of people made fun of Gwyneth Paltrow and Chris Martin when they split up doing that like conscious uncoupling, right? And it's an eye roll because it's Gwyneth Paltrow more than anything else. Yeah. But actually, I love this. Like, I love that, you know, people are being mature enough. They released a statement where they were just like, you know, we've just decided to move on to the next chapter in our lives. We still care about each other very much. This was a conscious decision that we made, you know, that we're in a different place now. And I'm like, I actually kind of I don't love that they've split up. And obviously, like Lisa Bonet has said that she's hurting from the split and everything. But I do love that, like, we're in this place where we don't glamorize this, like, big blow up kind of breakup anymore, you know?
Yeah. And I actually forget on my blackout TikTok adventure, I did see there's like a blind item of Jason Momoa with somebody else.
Oof. Oh, no. I hate that. I don't like that.
Well, I think all the women across America, well, all the cis women across America, well, maybe everyone across America
cis hetero women
are just like,
yeah. So you're saying there's a chance.
That's right. No, ma'am. We are not saying you have a chance.
Yeah, have you seen Lisa Bonet? I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Never. She has more beauty in her pinky than I have in my entire fucking body. Like, she is so like ethereal and beautiful and like otherworldly. Like, Lisa Bonet is just on another planet.
To end a relationship after that long is I mean, my heart goes out to both of them.
Yeah,
you know,
tough.
It's got to be tough. 16 years. That's a long time.
Yeah,
it's a long time. They have children together as well, you know, and then like, yeah, I can imagine that this is going to be difficult, but I think that they're the type, and I don't know anything about them, obviously, and like that sucks if there's something going on with Jason Momoa, but like they do seem like the type, and their statement that they released would indicate that they are the type who will be okay from this. And like if her relationship with Lenny Kravitz is any indication, I think it's going to be like fine.
Yeah.
At the end.
What if they end up back together, her and Lenny Kravitz?
Oh, you shut your mouth right now, Cassie. Don't get me excited like that.
I'm just saying, like, would that be amazing?
I will freak out if they get back together. I don't know why I care so much, but
either.
I do.
But I love it. I know. It's so I'm like, get back together.
It gave me a little thrill just now. I was like, oh.
Ooh, what if they did?
Oh my gosh.
Well, on the other side of that, Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly are engaged.
We couldn't not talk about this. I have to be honest. I read the thing. I saw the post, the blood we drank, and then we drank each other's blood. I thought it was a joke. It looks like a joke. It looks like a joke.
I was writing shit like that in my diary in 7th grade. Okay, I'm sorry. I said it. This shit is some Tumblr ass shit. I was like,
it's
cringe.
Horrifying.
So embarrassing. Oh my God.
Which is so why it made me think that she might have been joking, because it was literally like this really beautiful thing, and then it was like break, and then we drink each other's blood.
No, I don't think she's joking. And that's what makes it cringe is that like it's so serious. Like the way that they are together, they take themselves so seriously that I'm just like, that's what's uncomfortable about this is like you guys are in your own little world, in your own little bubble, love bubble or whatever, to such a degree that you don't even see how embarrassing this is.
Yeah.
Everyone around you is so uncomfortable right now.
It's that couple you were friends with in high school that would be like, you're all like out at a Denny's and they're like basically like
making out
in the booth, like sloppy as shit. It's so gross to everybody else to witness, but they're in it. They're in their bubble. And it is like, what?
You painted a real picture there, Christina.
Yeah, that feels like a real experience you had. I'm like, did you know somebody
who
who
are you
did
talking
that?
about? Tell us right now.
Who hurt you?
Who hurt you? I've been to that Denny's, girl. I know.
Somebody said online, do you think she'll change her name to Megan Gunn Kelly?
Oh my God. Oh,
I'm fucking dead,
so,
dude.
Actually.
I wonder what Brian Austin Green is thinking. Like if he's just looking at that, like what's going on over there?
He's
That
probably
is
like,
rough.
no comment.
Oh my goodness. That's gotta be, oh gosh. It's always hard when you see your ex in a new relationship, but one like this, that's just, oof, yikes.
It's so extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Because then you're just like, it would have me questioning a lot.
Right. I'm so glad that you said something because, I'm like, why are you trying so hard?
Yeah.
To like put this in our faces like this. Like, what are you trying to sell me? What are you trying to convince me of? It's a lot. It's a lot.
It reeks of first relationship out of high school.
Yes, it
right?
really does.
I'm an adult.
It
Let
really
me prove it to you. Oh my God, I'm so in love. Let me prove it to you. Yeah, like, okay, we get it. You love him. Cool.
Yeah,
if that ring
feels like a couple's Facebook page.
Oh, it does. It's definitely a couple. I was just gonna say,
it's an interesting thing that different people can be totally different when they're with other people. Like I was just thinking that with Billy Bob Thornton and Angelina Jolie, where I was like, that was also like that weird, intense, wild, bananas kind of relationship, right? And she's been with other people and he's been with other people, and it hasn't been like that that I've seen, or at least that the public can see from the outside. And I'm like, what is that? It's like two people get together and there's just something about their personalities.
Who do you think you would be that way with? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, we would be a bubble relationship. Like, if I ever, like, we would be, you know what I'm saying? That would be intense. I guess
when we were talking about Harry Styles, that's what I want him to do for me in a relationship. Like, I want us to be so off the fucking wall together. Wow. That's what appeals to me about that relationship is I'm like, we could be fucking weird. Like, it's gonna get wild up in here, and I love it.
See, and I'm such an introvert. Like, the idea of having something that public like that is like, but I'm like, you're right. There is that potential for folie à deux in all of us. I think. So just like
certainly
identifying like who
could bring that out of you,
who could bring that out. Oh, I had to think of that, man. I don't know. It'd probably be like some musician.
Yeah,
definitely for you. Definitely
for sure for you.
Somebody like, okay, I know exactly. I just finished watching Get Back, the Beatles documentary on Disney Plus, and 1968 Paul McCartney. That's who would do it for me. Have you seen him in that documentary?
Yeah,
he is. But I love that
peak
is
that
your
McCartney. Peak McCartney.
your Machine Gun Kelly is
Wow.
1968 Paul McCartney.
Wow.
It's hilarious to me.
I actually don't see it being that at all. Like, I can just imagine you guys going back to your very nice estate and reading books together.
No, you're reading leather-bound books in the library
you're not drinking
together,
each other's
Christina.
blood, bitch.
Ladies.
No.
That'd be John Lennon.
I know, but I just watched like I don't know how long this thing is, like 9 fucking hours
Oh, too long.
of them trying to record an album, and he has. I need to see his sign. He is either like Gemini, Capricorn, something like that, because he was like trying to boss bitch the Beatles, like keep them together or whatever, and his energy and just him trying to keep everyone on schedule and stuff. I was like, oh hey. Oh,
You want that?
Gemini.
That's
Where
the
in
thing
the
that does
world
it for
would
you.
Gemini fit
It's-
into that?
Somebody. Oh, he's a Gemini. Yeah.
He is.
There you go.
Yeah,
guess
he's a
that's-
Gemini.
Who knew?
There you go.
Wow.
I feel like John Lennon's like a Cancer.
Oh God. Yeah.
John Lennon is a Libra, Ringo Starr is a Cancer, and George Harrison is a Pisces. And I'm like, yeah,
Aw,
Totally.
bless your heart.
he's got Pisces energy.
Wait, who's a
For
Scorpio?
sure. Huh?
John Lennon's a Scorpio?
No.
John Lennon's a Libra, which
Oh.
I see.
That's my
I
opposite.
see that.
I can't. I'm that kind of is weird to me. All right. Well, what do you know?
So we're are we gonna fuck, marry, kill our folie à deux partners?
Oh, but we just did Harry Styles, so let me think of someone
I
else.
know. I got to think of somebody who would be my folie à deux. You're picking a very 1968 person.
Very specific. I'm going to time machine him like Encino Man, 1968. Paul McCartney is going to wake up in 2021, and we're going to thaw him out and literally like make everybody puke with our very vocal love poems and love songs to each other. It's going to be
I know.
gross.
I know. Okay, if you're doing 1968 Paul McCartney, I'm going to do early 1970s David Bowie.
Ooh.
Because that's what I need. I need somebody kind of like wacky, like someone who's not afraid to wear rhinestones. Like that's what I need. That person is going to
go up into Studio 54. Like,
oh God. Oh, so much dancing.
Just-
so much like
so much
gold.
cocaine.
So much cocaine. I'm torn.
Mm-hmm.
I think that my folie à deux would be 1990s circa vampire Interview with a Vampire Brad Pitt.
Oh.
Yes,
Hot.
long hair.
When
Just
he
do
dated
and-
Juliette Lewis. Like
Yes.
that
Oh
version.
yeah.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
sexy. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, so we've got very specific. We've got like mid 90s Brad Pitt. We've got early 1970s David Bowie, and we've got 1968 specifically Paul McCartney. So this is Paul McCartney when he had like a little bit of a beard
beard.
and long hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
Let it
Okay,
be.
okay.
Let it be John McCartney.
Okay.
yes.
I remember him on the cover of that album, and that's
Yes.
like such a specific look.
Yes, it is a vibe, and I'm here for it.
I
Okay.
know what I'm gonna do.
I think I know what
Okay.
I'm gonna do too.
I think I know. Okay, so I am going to fuck Brad Pitt. Okay, specifically in Interview with a Vampire because here's the thing, and I know how we feel about Legends of the Fall. It's the same time period. It's the
Right.
same hair, right? So I'm
But
like, I get that.
Grabbing a handful of that hair down there, like,
Oh,
come on.
I was like down there. Oh, down there. Oh, that's where his eye see.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Uh-huh.
oh, I see. I see.
I see.
Yeah, but I mean, like he just like reeks of sex appeal
Oh,
at
my
that
God.
time. Like he's so hot,
and
Like,
then
he's
we
just
drank each
so
other's
hot.
blood.
What was the equivalent of like a really cringy Instagram post in the mid 90s? There had to have been some like equivalent, but
Oh,
I don't know.
God.
You release your own, like you do like a John and Yoko and do like albums on each other or something. Okay, so I am going to fuck Brad Pitt. I'm going to marry David Bowie. Like,
Yeah.
I just think like it's gonna be so much fun. Like
Yeah.
we are gonna have so much fun.
He loves to last. He was with Iman, right? For like ever.
Forever.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're like, that's really sweet too. Iman was doing an interview recently where she was saying how she doesn't like it when people refer to David Bowie as like her previous husband, because she's like, no, that's my husband. Like he's my soulmate. Like,
baby.
I know. And I'm like, oh, my heart. But yeah, they were together for a really, really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think especially being with him at that time period, like we are going to go off.
Yeah.
We're going to go off. We're going to wear platform shoes. We're going to share shoes. Oh, it's going to be so great. I can't wait. And
the
then
double vanity where you guys can both do your makeup.
Yes. Oh
be
my
awesome.
God. He's going to do my makeup for me.
Mhm.
Oh my God. Oh, just love it. And then I love Paul McCartney. We know how much I love Paul McCartney. But he, at that time period especially, I'm like, he was so focused on like the music and everything, which is, I know, your big thing, Christina. You love that. Like, but for me, I feel like it would be just a little too much intensity, a little too much like control. So yeah, I'm nothing against Paul McCartney, obviously, but I think I'm going to have to move on.
All right. I know what I'm going to do. I am also going to fuck Brad Pitt because that is like,
look at him.
Me early 90s, like industrial music vibes in the background. Like, I love it. I love it.
It's a warehouse club. You're going to fuck.
Yes.
And it's going to start raining blood. Oh my God. It's that scene from
It's Blade.
Yeah.
And then listen, like 2 of those vibes together at the same time, like is take over the world energy. And I'm going to marry 1968 Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
That is just
I love it for you.
Things that we can accomplish because we're both like on task.
Oh my God.
It's so hot to me.
You're like, we got so much accomplished.
You're like, the things we checked off of our to-do list. Oh,
that
makes me so hot.
Did you do the dishes?
Oh my God.
Amazing. Well, I'm going to fuck David Bowie. I'm going to fuck David Bowie. 70s David Bowie. We're both for sure on cocaine. For sure. We're high. So it's going to be a long night. And only for him would I allow a long night. Because you know how much I hate long nights.
Right.
For you, I will. I'm going to marry Brad Pitt. It's not going to be a good thing. When I look at this, we are a folie deux.
Like, it's going to burn hot and fast.
We are we're going to revert back to the movie California. He's going to chip the concrete, Bri. Like, this is we're a mess.
Oh my gosh. When you break up, it's specifically in his contract that you guys cannot be like in a room together.
Right. Mine as well. Well. Yes. My writer. It's like, no, ma'am. No. We have like an actual, like, what is that? Like a protection order against each other.
Yep. Yeah.
We burned too hot.
If you're ever on the red carpet at the same time, your poor handlers are having to like struggle to keep you apart. They're like,
oh shit, he's up there. Hurry. So over here. Yeah, no, we burned hot. I'm not gonna say it was fast. I'm gonna say it was hot, but we burned hot. Okay.
Yeah.
And shined brightly.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, not 1968 Paul McCartney and you would be like oil and fucking water.
We would fight. A fight. And not like a good kind of cute fight. Like the kind where it's like, oh, you're on my fucking nerves, bruh. Let it go.
Don't tell me what to do. Vibe is strong in you. You'd be like,
absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and I know that this probably isn't a good example because I don't know if dishwashers existed in 1968, but I do feel like he would be the type to like he would go in and change the way you loaded the dishwasher.
Then do
you
it
know
your
what I mean? Because like you
fucking
didn't do it right.
Then do it your fucking self. Do it.
He
your
did
fucking
the
self.
same way he did Ringo's drums. He would do you like he did everybody else.
No, you're right. We would fight, and it wouldn't be the kind of cute fight where we drank each other's blood in the end. It'd be the kind where we'd be bleeding. But it wouldn't.
He'd be bleeding. He'd be bleeding. Let's be real.
Because my energy is like, I wish a motherfucker would come over here.
Try it.
Yeah, do it. I wish you fucking would.
But he's hot though.
Yeah,
honestly.
He is hot. He is hot. I mean, look, I wouldn't have said no. Like, come on.
Duh.
That rooftop concert. Oh my God, he was so hot. It was.
Back.
Oh my God, sweaty. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Yes. And we're back. Okay, so I have the story, the first story this week, since I have the Tainted Love.
Go for
Okay.
it.
I was in a dry spell after breaking up with my boyfriend of 4 years. Every date I went on was sucky in its own way, and I was losing faith in guys pretty fast. My stepmom asked if she could set me up on a date with her cousin's roommate. She described him a little bit better than I'd give him credit for. She said he was nice, attractive, had graduated, had a job, and an active social life. Oh, and he was 6'4", which admittedly was a bit of a lure for me. I showed up at the coffee spot we'd agreed on, and very clearly the picture he'd sent me was very, very, very old, as in maybe taken when he was 18, 19, and at the time of our date, he was around 26 or 27.
Okay.
Whatever.
That's a big change between those years.
Absolutely. Like your facial bones aren't even like done moving at like 18. Stop.
No.
Whatever. I decided he was nice enough looking. The date started out fairly normally. He ordered a complicated coffee drink. I got water. Then he ordered honey toast. If you've never had that, I highly recommend for himself. I'd said maybe 4 words, "Hi, how are you?" before he started in. "You're really pretty," he said flatly. There was something in his face that told me he was annoyed. Like, really pretty. Prettier than the pictures Lisa sent me.
Oh.
I shrugged.
Sorry?
Thanks. Seriously, you're way prettier in person, he cut me off. He looked around the cafe nervously, his leg bouncing beneath the table. Lisa didn't say you'd be so pretty.
Oh my God.
He plucked nervously at his shirt. His words were nice, but there was something aggressive about the way he said it. Okay. I didn't thank him again since it didn't sound like a compliment anymore. Lisa mentioned you're a chef. Yeah, well, I will be. I'm still a grunt in the kitchen. Is that what you went to school for? No, actually, I went to circus college.
What? That took a turn. Wasn't expecting that.
I don't think there's anything scarier than an angry clown. I got to be honest.
Circus college, though?
I'm really scared.
I have a question about circus college. I want to know. I want to talk about how
So did
my
she?
industry doesn't get taken seriously for the level of work we have to put in. But there's a goddamn circus college. Do you get an associate's in circus? Like,
his bachelor's is in juggling, you know. I paused, the straw in my water still resting on my lip. I'm sorry, what?
thank you.
Yeah, you know, clown school, where you learn to be a clown. I just blinked at him. But you're a chef. Yeah, I mean, cooking is my day job. Being a clown is my passion.
Oh no. We
But
did
there's
just say
not a ton of clowning jobs out there right now.
We did just say how important it was to be passionate.
I know.
This isn't it.
I know, and that's why I wanted to read this one, because listen, I do think that having a passion is sexy, okay? And if clowning is your passion, I'm happy for you.
Yep.
But your passion might not align with my lifestyle, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to, you know,
Clown around.
No, too soon.
oh, but
Too soon.
okay. Wow. I didn't reply. I was positive he was fucking with me. This had to be some joke, right? Before I could ask, his phone started ringing. He pulled it out of his pocket and answered his phone while I was sitting right there on a date. That is a turnoff.
What she didn't mention is that when he pulled out of his pocket, he also pulled out 50 scarves.
I want it to be one of those like giant fake like phones, you know? My jaw dropped. What the hell? No, it's fine, he said into the phone, turning slightly away. Yeah, 7:45. I think I can make that. Yeah, I'll meet you out front. Okay, bye. He set his phone on the table and turned back to me. So you think this will be wrapped up by 7:45?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. Yes. Good day.
I checked my watch. It was a little past 7. Yeah, for sure. I wanted to leave right then, but part of me still wondered. So, clown college. He launched into a whole spiel, going on and on about learning to face paint, his clown name, wearing big shoes, and fitting into small cars.
Wow. Wow.
It's like, here's how we all get into that little bitty car.
Oh,
I am doing life all wrong, ladies.
Clearly. After the clown conversation, he switched over to talking about his apartment and his pets and his favorite hobbies, karaoke and his clown posse bowling league.
I love it.
And a slew of other things, not letting me get even a single word in edgewise. I sat in almost total silence for close to 30 minutes. He finally stopped talking when the cafe worker came back over to drop off the check. So, he said once the cafe worker was gone, want to go 50-50? Yeah, no, I said, shaking my head. That's kind of fucked up. He rolled his eyes. Girls always expect guys to pay for them, especially pretty girls like you. Wow. I've been really cool this whole time, but I can't deal with this. You think just because you're sitting there batting your big blue eyes, I'll pay for whatever you want?
Excuse me, I had a fucking free tap water. You can go sit on it.
Thanks.
Fucking bozo.
If this isn't called fucking bozo.
Oh, God. Dude, I sighed. First of all, you've talked about yourself for an hour straight. Do you know anything about me? Anything at all? You ordered a $13 drink and a $15 dessert. I got water. In what universe would I split this with you?
Thank you.
Yes.
He sighed. Is this about the clown thing? I should have known you wouldn't understand.
Wow.
No, motherfucker. It's about you actually ordering things that costed money, and I didn't. That's what this is about.
Nope. I stood up so fast my chair screeched behind me. You're right. I don't.
Honestly, I have dated a lot of guys with quote unquote like hobbies that may not be
non-conventional hobbies.
Yeah, exactly. When you love somebody and someone is nice and treats you well, if Eric was like, babe, I really want to go to clown college, support 100%. 100. Yes. Because he is a good man. He is good to me and everything. I would take...
I'm going to need to see everything. I want everything videotaped.
I'm showing up to clown graduation. I am showing up. I want to watch him ride a little unicycle with giant fucking shoes.
I'm going to pee my pants.
I
yes,
need to be there.
Honestly, when a man is good to you, you will have his back through fucking clown college. But when he's going to be shitty like that, I mean, yeah. It's a different story. I'm sorry.
Yes. Agree.
Wow.
Wow.
No shade on clowns.
Wow.
Just saying.
No, I want you to know, and I want Eric to know that I also am here for him in clown college. So
I'll let him know.
Yeah, I support it. We support him.
I fully support this decision. And Chris will be there too. He is so scared of clowns.
Oh my God.
But tell him
he would do it.
But he would do it. For this. For you, I will.
For you, I will might be actually the title of this episode.
I feel like that's right. For you, I will.
Listen, as long as there's no balloon tricks, I'm in.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, I feel like balloons are integral to clown culture.
I cannot go. I'm sorry. I will watch you from afar. Take plenty of video. All right, see, you or me, what do you got?
I got a banger from a listener.
Ooh, okay. I'll go then. I have a good one, but I came from Reddit with this Valentine story that I thought was pretty interesting. You're
awesome.
Let me just say, you're not going to love it. And I know it's early for Valentine, but I was like, I want a happy Valentine's Day.
There we go.
I've never really celebrated Valentine's Day or been with anybody that made much effort for the occasion. I also, as the reader, we're not big Valentine's people in this house.
Neither are we. We don't do much of anything for Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
We usually like to go out. Well, we haven't been together that long, but generally I like to like go out to eat or have a special dinner or something like that, but nothing like super special. Yeah. No.
Yeah, it's just never been us.
Yeah.
Anyway, needless to say, when the guy I had been dating booked a romantic weekend away for Valentine's Day, I was really looking forward to it.
But you see, like, to me, I think the thing with Valentine's Day to me is like, we just had the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
We just had like Thanksgiving, Christmas. Every birthday in the world for our friend group is in January. Anthony's birthday is at the end of January. I'm like, by the time Valentine's Day comes along, I'm like,
we broke.
Like, we broke?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to get a nice bottle of wine and we're going to make something nice at home. A whole weekend at that point sounds exhausting.
But yeah, even going out to eat on Valentine's Day is such a scam. You know what I mean?
So
it's
expensive.
Overcharged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. They really do. They've ruined. Capitalism has ruined the holiday.
I mean, capitalism is the reason why that holiday exists in the first place. But
also true.
I mean, St. Valentine?
No, like Valentine's Day was a holiday created by the Hallmark Company.
I thought it was
same way
Sweetest Day.
De Beers did with the diamonds.
Oh, I thought Sweetest Day was created by Hallmark.
That is also true.
Yeah. Anywho, when we got to the hotel, he seemed really disappointed in the room and the facilities. We went downstairs to the pool/spa where he complained that there was no jacuzzi. There was no jacuzzi advertised at the hotel anyway, and demanded we receive a free bottle of wine for the quote inconvenience.
People like this are not my vibe at all.
I was so embarrassed, but determined not to let it ruin the night. While we were getting ready to go out, he insists I need to iron my off-the-shoulder top and starts ironing it for me, burning a huge hole in my blouse.
Okay, you going to buy me a new shirt? Or?
In the end, I have to rip off the sleeve and improvise with just a sleeveless tube top.
Oh,
no.
I hate the state so far.
Oh, I hate it. We're not going out. I'd be in such a bad mood after that.
Oh, done.
I'd be like, call room service. We're not going anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Go get me some snacky snacks out the
Yeah,
we're not going anywhere. We go to a really nice restaurant for dinner, and I can't help but notice that he is throwing the drinks back and considerably more drunk than me. I remember nudging him under the table a few times due to how rude he was to the staff, who were lovely. We end up in a pub, and he's slurring his words and being all over me, and I have the worst gut feeling for no apparent reason. I was just so on edge and just wanted to go back to the hotel.
That's so unattractive when people get to the point where they're like that, like wasty, and they're like pawing at you and shit. Like, is there anything that's like more of a turnoff?
Yes, especially if you're not like, it's like one thing if like you're in a dive bar situation kind of thing, but when you're in an upscale establishment, like
awful.
I act upscale. I can act dirty in dirty places.
That's
and
right.
And have proudly, but I act upscale in upscale places. You just got to match the establishment.
Yeah, and it's different if it's both of you as
Also
well. Like
true.
if you're both on the same level, then I'm like, that's different. But if one of you is like kind of sober and the other one is like wasty,
it's not a good
cute.
look.
That sounds awful. I ended up falling asleep first when we were back to the hotel, and I wake up to him all over me. Disgusting and not reciprocated. I notice he has ordered bottles of wine from room service and has been up alone drinking them. I
want to know how much money he spent on alcohol on this trip, because I'm in my head doing the maths, and I'm like, you bought how many drinks at an upscale restaurant where each cocktail has to be like at least $15 a drink?
Yep.
Right. And then you went to a bar after that and kept drinking, and then you bought bottles from room service at a hotel.
Wow.
Like you just spent like hundreds hundreds of dollars on booze.
And really for yourself, because she's not drinking. He's literally drinking a room. I'm still half asleep when I hear him mumbling under his breath angrily, making absolutely no sense. He is really annoyed and starts shouting and slurred words at me that I ruined the night and to pack my stuff. We're going home. And that he's leaving.
Oh.
Going to get in the car and leave me here. It was early hours of the morning. He storms out of the hotel room after throwing stuff around, but quickly comes back to tell me I was lucky he was drunk, or he would be going to into town to find a girl prettier than me.
Oh.
Awful.
Whoa.
I start crying and attempting to calm him down when the fire alarm goes off. I throw on my PJs and attempt to get him dressed, but he was just in such a state I couldn't. And I was panicking.
Well, bye.
Staff were knocking on the door trying to evacuate the floor, by the time we make it outside, everyone in the hotel is already out there. It's raining and the fire brigade have to give us a foil blanket to keep warm. It's so obvious I've been crying. I have makeup all down my face. He is too busy verbally abusing the hotel staff and the firemen to even notice that people are asking me if I'm okay. I'm so beyond embarrassed. Can you fucking imagine?
Horrible. This is terrible.
Imagine. Wow. Eventually, we get back to the room and he passes out. By the time he wakes up in the morning, I'm showered, packed both of our stuff, and ready to go. We cut the weekend short despite him wanting to stay another night. On the way home, he...
What? Why?
Honestly.
Why would he want to stay another night?
He's a motherfucker that wanted to leave.
Right? On the way home, he won't stop apologizing, saying how awful he feels, and due to not getting much response from me, pulls the car over and refuses to drive until I say I forgive him.
Oh, fuck you. Oh my God. Oh my God. I just got triggered like so hard. That kind of emotionally manipulative bullshit pisses me off so fucking
bad.
much. You're holding me literally hostage. I don't owe you anything. You don't deserve my forgiveness. You haven't earned my forgiveness. Stop it.
For the next week, he would leave flowers on my car and even a Moonpig card. I don't know what a Moonpig card is.
Me neither.
Just FYI. I have a feeling this is from another country because also apologizing was with an S. So, best part, on the drive home, between the groveling, his boss calls and asks him to keep the receipts for the room service so that they can be matched up with his hotel room. He had put the entire weekend on his company card and told them he was there for work.
Fraudster, liar, emotionally manipulative, the worst.
I hate this person.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this person so much. Like, that's some abuser behavior too.
It
like
is.
that, just like
100%.
treating you like shit and then like love bombing you.
Yep. Get out.
I hate that. Oh,
wow. Woo. Well, I have got a journey that was submitted by a listener.
Can't wait.
And let's just go for a ride.
Buckled
all
up.
right. I'm ready.
Okay, buckled up. I met this guy, let's call him Brad, at a show. He got my number and a few weeks later texted me to hang out. I picked him up from a brand new house in a fancy suburb. I was pretty shocked that he would live in a place like that because he's a pretty classic looking punk who didn't have a job, but I didn't ask about it at the time. He then presented to me 3 jars of milk, saying that he traded a city worker some ketamine for 90 jars of milk and now needs to get rid of them. Makes perfect sense, I guess.
I have 100 questions.
Why did they have 90 jars of milk? How? I don't understand. Did they milk their own cows?
And now I guess how much ketamine, because I need to know the milk to ketamine
ratio.
What's the exchange rate?
Exchange rate.
Exactly.
This little detail becomes relevant later. So just hold it in your heads.
It's relevant.
Where else am I going to put it?
Confused.
It's there for the rest of my fucking life. Are you kidding me? Put that little nugget. That nugget will wake me up in the middle of the night tomorrow. Like, what?
Okay.
90
jars of milk. Are we sure it was milk?
We drove into the city for our date and decided on wandering around thrift stores and then dinner. At the thrift store, he buys some paper lanterns, the type that you light a fire into and the heat makes it float. Now, at this point, the area we live in is under a heavy blanket of smoke from nearby forest fire. Surely he's not going to light them today.
Or ever. If you're in a fire hazard area, you do not buy lanterns that you use fire. Like,
no, we can't do that.
No.
Like, we live in a place where there's a fire season. Like, you cannot be just like sending fire off into the air to land God knows where.
That's not how it works out here. Yeah.
What the fuck?
At dinner, he becomes very distracted by his phone. He found a sick deal on some music equipment and needs me to take him to pick it up because he doesn't drive.
Oh my God.
He's like scrolling on Facebook Marketplace while you're on your date.
Oh my God.
He's like, I got a sick deal on an amp.
Oh no.
He's also going to the bathroom a lot this whole time, and I finally figured out he's definitely doing drugs in there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or he's drinking jars of milk.
So then he begins telling me about how he makes YouTube videos where he puts milk in his mouth and then slowly drools it out.
What?
Wait, can you make money doing this?
He makes other people do these videos for him too. It's a whole thing.
What?
At the restaurant, he makes me watch a whole bunch of these videos.
Wait,
Cassie's over there like, but hold on, how much are they getting paid?
I'm in. I can't drink milk anyway, so drooling it out of my mouth is not a problem.
Yes. Sign me up. So I keep making eye contact with the server, hoping he can see what's happening here, but alas, no solidarity from him. No,
come on.
That server was like, you're on your own.
You're on your
Deuces.
own. I can't deal with the milk drooling. Yeah.
Wow.
I had a beer with dinner and I'm super lightweight, so I couldn't end the date and drop him off right away. I had to wait to drive. While waiting, he took me to a park, and before I knew what was happening, he lit the paper lanterns into the orange, smoky sky. I was pretty freaked out that someone would call the cops because of the forest fire, but we couldn't leave the scene of the crime right away because he was coming down and needed to talk more MDMA. A rye.
What?
I'm like, there's so much. We got milk. We've got MDMA. We've got, oh my gosh, paper lanterns.
Jars of fucking milk.
Yes. Finally.
And I have to ask, because I think I saw this come into our inbox. Is this the same person who I did a story on last week as well?
It is.
Oh my God. This is P-Jar guy.
P-Jar guy. Yep.
Oh
this
my
is their,
God.
This is their first date.
Yeah.
Wow. What?
Yes.
Ooh,
what's he got with jars?
This
motherfucker's.
It was probably, he loves a jar. He loves a good mason jar, a good sturdy mason jar.
Wow.
Finally,
we got to my car, but I forgot that I said that I would drive him to buy the music gear. He gives me directions and we end up at a shelter. He asks to borrow my sweatshirt because he needs a hood to cover his face from cameras.
What? Oh, well, because he's trading ketamine for an amp, I'm sure.
I sit there waiting in my car for close to an hour when he finally comes running out with some equipment saying, go, go, go.
What?
No.
Load it in, and I speed away worried I was just an accessory to a crime.
You were.
I'm going to break down that paragraph. She waited an hour.
No,
I would have left his ass. Sorry. You can call a lift home.
I can't wait. And it is a very toxic trait of mine, my extreme impatience that has continued to get worse the older I get. The amount of time that I'm willing to wait for something is like nil now. Nothing. An hour? Hour.
With this guy.
No.
This guy.
Milk jar, man? No.
Nah.
I asked for his address so that I can get rid of him and the stolen equipment, and he leads me back into the suburbs. We arrive at an apartment building, not the swanky new house. Is this where you live? I ask. He says no, but he just wants to go in to smoke a joint with a friend, and won't I come and join him?
Am I your Lyft driver tonight? No.
No.
5
going
stars,
home.
please. 5 stars. I try to say no, but I don't know what else to do with the stolen music gear, and he says it will be just a minute. We go into a small apartment full of people and incense, and I realize that everyone here is high on acid. There's a crust.
No. I'm sorry. I do not want to be in a room full of strangers who are tripping balls on acid.
What in the absolute shit show hell is happening here?
Absolutely fucking not.
This fucking date is a fever dream. Honestly. There's a crusty raver in his 30s and 4 18-year-old girls on their first ever acid trip. The dude is dating one of the girls, and the other 3 are her friends from back home who just moved across the country, and this is their first week away from home.
No.
The guy, let's call him Chris, is ranting about kids these days and how all they care about is vapid. He's trying to teach these girls about society by making them watch videos about sweatshops, animal abuse, and other horrific realities while they're tripping on acid.
No. Oh, no.
Oh, these poor girls. Oh, my God.
What?
At this point, Brad brings out a big bag of drugs and offers me some. I don't know if it was the incense, the chaos of the day, or just being really lonely in a pandemic, but I agreed to get high with this group of people. Down the hatch, Brad tries to cheer up the young women by making them watch his milk videos.
No.
I can't.
I'm so upset.
Oh
I'm
my
so
God.
upset
He's like,
by
guys,
this situation.
I got something that'll pick this evening up. Just drool milk.
Can you imagine watching that tripping your balls off? I'd be like, what?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. What is
Oh.
happening?
The 4 girls don't want to be in a tiny apartment with these guys watching sad documentaries and weird milk art. They want to run around in a park and touch grass. Chris keeps saying no because apparently the swanky suburbs aren't a safe place for women to walk around at night in groups.
You think this apartment is a safe place? Doesn't feel like it.
Honey, no.
It sure doesn't feel like it.
I feel like you're
It does
safer
not.
out in the streets.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, if there's one thing I can't abide by is crusty old ravers telling teenagers what to do. So I start orchestrating an escape.
That's right, girl. Solidarity.
It wasn't much of a sneaky escape because now I was also high by this time. We go outside and the guys follow. I thought that I could be a great trip mom for the girls as an older, wiser, more experienced acid taker. But it turns out I was actually quite high. I went to pee behind a tree and apparently just sat for 10 minutes with my pants around my ankles, oblivious to the fact that I was no longer peeing.
Amazing.
I'm fucking dead.
Just like 1 hour later.
We walked for quite a while, but the air quality was really bad from the fires and our lungs started to hurt. Brad said that his house was nearby and we could go there to get out of the smoke. We walked there and all 7 of us file inside. Something seems wrong, though. The house is very nice and clean, and people are definitely home sleeping.
Oh, my God. Oh, no. Oh, no. And you have stolen shit in your car. Ma'am. What?
At this moment, a woman wakes up and storms downstairs yelling, "What the fuck are you doing in my house?" So, it turns out Brad is homeless, and this is the house of a woman that he is sleeping with.
Oh.
Stop it.
No.
That's worse than parents. I thought it was going to be parents.
No.
No.
It's even worse. It's so much worse.
No.
We go outside but can see through the window as Brad gets yelled at for a while. Eventually, we find a cab and all go back to the first apartment. It's a 1-bedroom with 7 people, and finding room for us all to sleep is a challenge. Brad and I curl up in a corner, and I witness him opening a 7-Eleven sandwich, tearing open a cigarette, and sprinkling it onto his sandwich.
What? Whoa.
Okay, time out.
Why?
Time out.
There's
What in the hell are you telling us? This is some fake news. You made this up? This what is
He's
happening?
ashing on his sandwich? Is that what you just said to me?
Yes, he put tobacco. He put a cigarette onto a 7-Eleven sandwich.
What? Why?
I'm about to hang up this call. With this fake news. What in the fuck is happening?
We're almost there, guys. This fever dream is about to break.
I'm hanging on for dear life. I feel like I'm tripping right now.
I know.
Right? When I asked in the morning, he said he forgot he was eating and thought he was rolling a spliff. No one does much sleeping, and I can hear Chris getting upset with his girlfriend for leaving the apartment. He was angry he had to come with us and protect us from the harms of the outside world, and how if any man saw 4 women walking, they would not be safe. I piped up and said, in my experience, it's the men that you know that hold the most risk, obviously alluding to him. He became very angry, and it was evident that it was time for me to go. Brad and I waited at a Denny's for a few hours until I was sober enough to drive. God, is this why Denny's is still open? For all of us to sober up?
Yes. Yes.
I think about that girl often and hope she's all right. I moved to a new town with no friends at the beginning of the pandemic. Loneliness was a big factor in why I stayed on that date for so long. Sure makes a good story, though.
Wow.
Woo. I mean,
that's a lot.
I'm emotionally troubled from that entire ordeal.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I'll ever be safe again. I just want you to know.
No.
And then she saw him again and he peed in her water jar.
Yep.
And then drank out of it.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I gotta come on the side of this. I went on second dates with really bad first dates.
Oh, I'm not judging her.
Sometimes it's like,
but
you're
like,
I'm
not judging her.
Your
bad
first
vibes
dates weren't this bad. This isn't.
This is an
fever
epic.
Dream. This isn't even a date. Like, I am so confused.
It honestly is a modern day Homer's Odyssey that we just went through.
Yes.
Siren's call. Like, it was everything was there.
I feel like it lines up. It really does.
Yeah.
Wow. Oof. Wow. Thank you for writing in. What a trip. Okay. So, my turn to do Tainted Love this week. The last 2 Tainted Loves I've done have been real heavy hitters, kind of like hardcore bangers. So I decided to kind of like take a step back this week, have a little bit of fun. And so I am going to talk today about Hortense Mancini. Okay? Christina, you were saying recently that you wanted us to do another history one. And so
I love it.
I have obliged. I first heard about this person on the Noble Blood podcast, which we've talked about before. Such a good podcast. The rest of my information I got from a MadameGuillotine.co article, a Factinate article, an FYaHistory.com article. So let's jump in. Okay. Hortense was born into nobility on June 6, 1646 in Rome, and she was the 4th of 5 sisters. She also had 3 brothers, so lots of kids. Mm-hmm. Their mother was said to be a great beauty, and this trait she passed down to her daughters. And their father was an eccentric aristocrat who was said to have dabbled in black magic with a specialty in necromancy. So she had a very
awesome,
kind of like strange, eclectic childhood. There's a lot of art going on in her household, lots of money, wealth in Rome.
You had me at necromancy.
Yeah. Hortense's uncle on her mother's side was Cardinal Mazarin, Cardinal Mazarin, who was both the cardinal and chief minister to Louis XIV. So it's safe to say that they were very, very, very well connected. When Hortense was 4 years old, her father died suddenly, and what he died of, I'm not sure. It was 1650. It could have been literally anything. Could have gotten a cold.
A cut on the foot.
Yeah.
Like, you're gone.
And they're like, you know what this needs? We need to bleed you, you know?
Exactly.
After the death of her husband, Hortense's mother packed up all 5 girls and relocated from Rome to Paris in the hope of using her brother's influence to make connections and ultimately gain the girls' advantageous marriages. he invited them all to stay with them at the French court. So the entire family relocates to French court. Cardinal Mazarin had a soft spot for all of his nieces, but Hortense was said to be his favorite. Even as a child, she was witty, smart, a little bit wild, and precocious, and she was the prettiest of the sisters. And that's really saying something, because all of the Mancini girls were considered to be like hot ticket items. They were the it girls of their time as they grew up. They were
the
beautiful. They were the Kardashians of the French court. You know, they had these unique kind of considered to be like exotic Italian features, like dark features. And they were just great beauties, right?
Oh, I'm obsessed with the story so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to the point where they were even given a nickname. They were called the Mazarinettes. That's like their group. That's what they called them, which is, you know, they were a big deal, right?
Keeping up with the Mazarinettes, huh?
Exactly. As Hortense's older sisters matured, they had their pick of European nobility, and her uncle secured great marriages for all of them. Her oldest sister was married to a French duke, and the next two married princes. So when Hortense was 13, who should show up at French court but Charles II of England? He was known to be a partier at the time and throughout his entire life, and was currently in exile from England. He was immediately drawn to Hortense's wild, free spirit when he met her, and the two bonded really fast. And he was so taken with her that he proposed marriage to her, promising to make her England's queen should his exile end. But Uncle Cardinal was not having it. He didn't feel like Charles's position, since he was currently in exile, was secure enough. Plus, this guy had the reputation of being a philanderer and a partier, and just like not the kind of guy that he wanted for his favorite niece. So he declined the offer.
I know about Charles from Outlander, from watching Outlander.
Yes. You're like, I've got his number.
You're like where I get most of my history.
Exactly.
I think I've actually talked about him on this podcast before. I'm pretty sure one of my previous ones. But her uncle would soon regret this decision, because literally months after he proposed marriage to her, he was reinstated as the King of England. So she really would have gone on to have been the queen.
She's like, wait,
Charles,
wait, one more time.
Hold on.
Yeah.
1 sec.
Time out.
Charles was heartbroken and hurt, so when the uncle approached Charles afterwards, when he was reinstated as king, and offered him a dowry of 5 million livres to marry his niece, he refused. He was like, no, you should have said yes the first time.
You gotta love me in my worst.
That's right. That's right. After that, Hortense had a series of marriage proposals to high-ranking French officials fall through due to dowry disagreements. So the uncle was just like not willing. It was this one like castle that they had. There were two different guys who wanted to marry Hortense, but like part of the arrangement was that they wanted this particular like family estate, and the uncle was like, no. So finally, an arrangement was secured, and on March 1st, 1661, 15-year-old Hortense was married to one of the richest men in Europe, 29-year-old Armand. I'm not going to say his entire name because it's literally like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 names. No.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Armand, okay? Hortense's uncle would die soon after, but he loved Hortense so much. She was such a favorite of his that he left her a tremendous fortune. She was his primary heir.
Wow.
So at the age of 15, Hortense was one of the wealthiest women in Europe, married to one of the wealthiest men in Europe.
Wow.
So they were extremely, extremely wealthy. But you know what they say, money doesn't buy happiness or love, especially when the person you're married to is an absolute maniac. So, Armand, Hortense's new husband, was a terror. First of all, it was said that he had an interest bordering on obsession with Hortense from the time she was 9 years old.
Ew.
Which is
God,
very upsetting. But he was also a religious fanatic who was wildly erratic and possessive and jealous. So he believed, for instance, that milking cows was too erotic for women and believed that the sight of milkmaids milking cows would be lustful and sinful to passing men. To remedy this, he had the front teeth of all his female servants knocked out so that they would be less attractive and tempting to the male servants and the other men around them. He knocked out all of the front teeth of all of the women in his service.
Can you fucking imagine?
Horrifying.
I just got chills.
Truly horrifying. And Cassie, this will make you cringe.
Can't wait.
When Hortense's, more than you're already cringing, but specifically for you, when Hortense's uncle died, she inherited his priceless art collection, some of the most beautiful art in the world at the time. Armand found the paintings and sculptures obscene. So one day, Hortense had to watch as Armand chipped off and painted over the genitals on all of the pieces. These priceless paintings and sculptures.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Because Armand had been so obsessed with Hortense, he was acutely aware of her reputation. She was bright, witty, charming, and sought after, and this made him insanely jealous. He forbade her from seeing any men and started bursting into the room in the middle of the night to check for hidden lovers. He had her followed anytime she was out and would force her to spend days on her knees praying for her sins. Up to a quarter of the day every day.
Ooh, this is some Carrie shit.
Oh, shit.
It's terrifying. And it becomes even more it feels very Misery-esque because he ended up forcing her to leave Paris and live in the remote countryside, French countryside with him in order just to pull her away, isolate her as much as possible.
Wow.
In her memoirs, Hortense calls herself, quote, the richest heiress and most unhappiest woman in Christendom. Forbidden to see any men except her husband, Hortense began spending time with a female friend her own age, Sidonie de Courcelles? We're going to go with that. And they soon began an affair. Huh?
Did she have teeth?
I think she did have teeth. Yes, because she was a noble woman who was about the same age as Hortense.
So it worked. Okay.
No. But they began spending time together, and she's like, okay, you won't let me see men, so I'm going to start having an affair with this lady.
Wonderful.
Perfect. You love to see it.
When Armand discovered the affair, this was a stupid move. When he discovered the affair, he had both girls packed off to a convent together.
Well, that'll take care of it.
That'll do.
Yeah, and I can imagine, honestly, for Hortense, this was probably a welcome escape for her.
Yeah.
Her life was pretty miserable, so she was probably great, a vacation.
She's like,
fantastic.
No, please don't send me with my lover to a place that we can be together quietly. That sounds awful.
Right? Yeah. So obviously the two continued their affair while in the convent and spent their days playing pranks on the nuns, pouring ink in the holy water, and attempting to climb the chimney.
That's awesome.
Wait,
I love it. Some of the articles I read said that they were trying to escape by climbing up the chimney, but I don't know if that's true or how that would even work necessarily.
That seems like an odd escape plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Eventually the nuns had enough. The nuns were like, listen, we can't deal with these chicks. We cannot handle it. So they sent Hortense and Sidonie back to Armand, and soon after that, their affair fizzled out. Despite the fact that their marriage was clearly a nightmare, the pair somehow managed to have 4 children together. Still, the children were not enough to keep Hortense in an unhappy situation, and after 7 years of marriage, she began planning her escape. So her first few attempts were unsuccessful, with one resulting in Armand imprisoning Hortense in the family home. But eventually, with the help of her brother, Hortense would come up with a plan that would ultimately be successful. So her brothers procured the horses for her and arranged the secret travel. Dressed as a man, Hortense left her husband and her children behind by carriage. And it really goes to show you what an asshole Armand must have been, that a man, even a brother, especially a brother sometimes in these very high nobility families.
Yep. At that time would actually help her. do this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like he must have been fucking terrible. Because usually like family members are just like, look, man, that's your lot in life as a woman. You have to deal with it. He's your husband, you know? Hortense rode through the night to Rome, where she would stay with her closest sister, Marie, who was now the Princess Colonia. Her escape became an immediate sensation all across the continent, the gossip of the year. One courtier commented that, quote, no cuckold has ever been so deserving of the title as the Duke Mazarin Armand, and every day of his life gives me more admiration for his wife, who prefers to take to the road rather than suffer his presence any longer.
Yeah.
Again, like these are men who are like, nah, good for her. Good for her. Like,
I love it.
Love it.
Yes. Hortense did attempt to get a divorce, and I'd like to think that she wanted to be reunited with her children because it sucks that she had to leave her kids behind. But we don't actually know. Her later writings didn't really indicate that she was all that maternal, so maybe not. Either way, she couldn't get a divorce. She lost her resources to her husband, who continued to relentlessly demand that she return home.
No.
Meanwhile, at Marie's house, her husband sucked too, so her sister Marie. Marie feared that he had been trying to poison her, so the two women, Marie and Hortense, decided to flee to France, where Marie's former lover and first love, King Louis XIV, took mercy on both women and put them under his protection.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Marie, Hortense's sister Marie, and King Louis XIV were like childhood sweethearts, like very, very sweet on each other. They had to actually be like separated because he wanted to marry her, and everybody was like, you can't marry her. Like it wasn't a marriage fit for a king. So they wrote letters back and forth to each other and everything. So they had a history. And so when the women fled back to court, he put them under his protection.
Nice.
Louis gave Hortense an annual pension of 24,000 livres, which was a hefty sum. And this allowed her the unusual freedom to become an independent woman. Nice. It also helped that none of that money had to go to rent, because another of Hortense's former flames, the Duke of Savoy, who had also once proposed marriage to her, also offered his protection and home on his property. So she lived in a house. Yeah. She lived on a house on his property and also got like all this money from the king. So she was just kicking it. She was living the best life.
Wow.
Yep.
While there, Hortense began work on her memoirs. She decided that since the story of her escape had become such salacious gossip around town, that she should step in and shape the narrative, which was a genius move. I mean, they really were like the Kardashians of their time. They're like, we're going to grab hold of this story and we're going to control it. Mm-hmm.
And we're also going to profit from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
love it.
Yeah.
The book became so wildly popular that it spawned imitations. Grifters began writing their own works and putting the names of the Mazarinette sisters on the cover, especially Marie, because she had also left her husband after Hortense did. So people were writing these fake memoirs, kind of trying to profit off of this like new trend that Hortense had started. Hortense would classify this period of her life as incredibly happy. Her home on the Duke's property became a safe haven for artists and philosophers, but this would be short-lived. Soon, the Duke would die, and his widow, believing that Hortense had had an affair with her husband, kicked her off the property. And let's be honest, she probably did.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to say,
Yeah, let's be real. Oh, you can't blame the wife. You're like,
No.
Yeah. In the chaos of the Duke's death, Armand somehow managed to freeze all of Hortense's assets, including her pension from Louis XIV, in an effort to force her to return home.
How? How can he?
I don't know. How do you override the king? He must have gone to some kind of court. I mean, women didn't really have any rights, so I don't know. Hortense was on the verge of panicking, but our girl is ever resourceful, and soon she found an alternative. England's ambassador to France, a man named Ralph Montague, was unhappy with his position in England, and he blamed his situation on King Charles II's favorite mistress, Louis. We're going to call her Louise. I don't want to try and pronounce her last name. whatever. Louise. So this, I'm guessing what happened here, because it's not really ever explained, is that Louise kind of controlled Charles II's like inner circle, and she didn't really like Ralph Montague. So it prevented him from moving upward, right? From upward mobility within the court because Louise didn't like him. So knowing Hortense's financial situation, her fame, and her past with King Charles II, because he had proposed to her, he went to Hortense and proposed that she infiltrate the French court and try to unseat Charles's current mistress to become the favorite. She would be well taken care of, and she could talk Ralph up to the king. So it was like a win-win. He's like, you get in there,
I get in there, we all get in there.
Everybody's happy. So Ralph foot the bill for Hortense to travel to England under the pretense of visiting her niece, who was married to King Charles II's younger brother, James. The plan went off without a hitch. Charles was instantly charmed with Hortense, who arrived to English court in 1675 dressed as a pistol-wielding man.
Wow.
And
shit.
she's just, I love this woman. She is wild. She quickly became a royal mistress, dethroning Louise immediately. Yeah. She was like number one.
Bye, bitch.
Mm-hmm. Hortense was a real party girl, and she and Charles spent their evenings drinking and dancing. She wasn't concerned with being the number one mistress, so long as she received a generous allowance, and she did. In fact, she preferred it this way. It allowed her to continue to live independently. Though she didn't remain his number one girl, he was so fond of her that he turned a blind eye to her refusal to call him Your Majesty. She's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You're like, Charlie to me, okay?
Yeah. Listen, Chuck.
Precisely. Then Hortense began an affair with Charles's daughter. Pause for effect.
Oh. Okay.
Anne was the illegitimate daughter of Charles and one of Hortense's fellow mistresses, Barbara. So she's like hanging out with Barbara all the time, fucking Charles. Damn. And then she meets their daughter, Anne.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, who was in her teens and unhappily married at this time. And Hortense was now in her early 30s. The two became fast friends, which quickly progressed to lovers. Rumors swirled about the two women, but suspicions weren't confirmed until the two were found dueling in St. James Park in their nightgowns with a group of men looking on. Scandalous.
Wow.
Scandalous.
Wow.
Anne's husband was so furious that he sent her away from court. She was said to be so desperate, heartbroken, and depressed that she took to bed for weeks and cried, kissing a miniature of Hortense every night before bed and holding it close.
I don't like that.
This chick is...
I don't like that.
She a bad bitch, man.
For real.
Wow.
Charles, while not pleased with Hortense, ultimately forgave her for sleeping with his daughter, and things went back to normal until Hortense had another affair, this time with the Prince of Monaco. And for some reason, that was a worse transgression. He was like,
well,
look.
What? My daughter's like one thing.
That's been a huge thing for all time, and I'm so glad that you're bringing this up. It's like, guys don't think that women and women together is like as serious as like, it's not a threat to their masculinity the same way that her having an affair with a man is a threat to his masculinity. Even though it is his fucking daughter, they just don't take women loving women in that way as serious.
I guess because what are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah, and I also think it has something to do as well with the fact that this is another like royal. I think maybe it would have been different if it wasn't like someone else who's like royalty, kind of like in his circle as well. Like it was just a hit to his ego. Mm-hmm. So after this, he stopped speaking to Hortense and stripped her of her mistress title and royal pension for a couple of days.
This bitch is bad, and I'm here for it.
I love it. Like,
he's like,
I want just a tenth of this energy. Like, wow.
He gave her a spanking and put her in the corner.
Charles and Hortense remained friends, though. And with her pension back in place, Hortense lived more than comfortably in Chelsea, where she became infamous for her parties. She hosted the great minds of England, poets, artists, scientists. Her parties were so influential in terms of culture that the scientific articles brought up there would become widely read, popular, and translated. So she was like very much like, this is a free thought space in her home. She set English fashion, and at a time when women were largely kept separate from men at intellectually stimulating parties such as this, Hortense encouraged the women and men to mingle together, and they even gambled together, which was something that was unheard of at the time. Like, usually women gambled at their own table because they were deemed to be fiscally irresponsible, and the men would gather together, and they didn't have these kinds of conversations together like this. So it was in England. So during all this, Hortense's husband, Armand, never stopped filing motions in efforts to petition the courts to force his wife home. But since she was under the protection of the English king, he remained unsuccessful.
Sorry about you.
Yeah, die mad, salty bitch.
Amen.
Then, in 1685, Charles II died suddenly. Hortense maintained her place at court, remaining good friends with England's new king, James II, but James was a Catholic, and after the Revolution of 1688, he soon was chucked off the throne, and this left Hortense vulnerable. And in 1689, Armand took his case to court in France. He said that Hortense, whose income had greatly reduced by this point, had no right to her dowry and either needed to return to him or be sent to a convent to live out the rest of her days. Like, he is not letting up. It has been like so many years. You know?
Fuck off.
The law was on his side and ruled in his favor. However, Hortense's lawyers had a strategy. Her years of drinking and gambling had left her in considerable debt, and English law prevented her from leaving the country until those debts were paid. Armand, who had always been miserly, despite his wealth, refused to recognize Hortense's debts as legitimate. After all, she had no right procuring debt without her husband's permission, and so he refused to pay her debts. So she couldn't, they were in a stalemate. She couldn't return home. Hortense moved to the English countryside where she would live the rest of her life until she died of alcoholism. So some people said that it was just hard living in general, and then others would say that this was a deliberate act, that she intentionally, quote, hastened her death by excessively drinking strong spirits. And some historians believe that this means that she drank a number of tonics that were known to cause death, so that it was a suicide. She passed away in 1699 at the age of 53. Even after her death, Armand remained obsessed with Hortense and unable to let her go. He traveled to England, where he bought Hortense's body from her creditors. Once carted back to France, he took her corpse with her everywhere he went for a year.
My dude.
The obsession is strong. When he visited country estates that Hortense was said to have hated the most, he lingered there longest with her body. Like, what's wrong with you?
Honey, she's not there anymore.
Yeah.
She's
not
that
that
into
into
you.
you. Eventually, he did bury Hortense in the ground next to her uncle as she had requested, and there she remained until the French Revolution, when her bones, as well as her uncle's, were dug up and thrown into the river. Where she is now, nobody knows.
It's so fucking weird. They're like, no.
Wow. That is a
What
wild
a life.
ride.
Can you imagine?
Wow.
Wow. Fast and bright. Dude, everything about that, I'm like, I need to see the dramatic reenactment of everything you just said. I want the costumes. I want... Who are we casting as Hortense?
I think it's like an Angelina Jolie. And I am not somebody who casts her lightly, because she's not like to me like, oh, the most beautiful. Like, she's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think that this is her character. Like,
it's a vibe.
Pull off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
It is a vibe.
Like
I want this to be an HBO limited series is what I want. Like, I need more than one episode. I need it to be like different chapters. But yes, like,
transport me into this world, please. Literally everything that you were saying, the setting, the relationships, all of it. I want a HBO limited series.
I love that like she
you
was sent
said.
off to a convent with her lesbian lover. She's got relationships with kings. Like it's just beautiful.
This is some real life Game of Thrones shit.
Ooh.
That like
okay, so wait,
happened.
I just looked her up actually. So she's Italian. She's got incredibly big
She's got really
eyes.
big eyes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so to me, I look at her and I think of Christina Ricci, if I'm honest.
Yeah, like visually she's got kind of that vibe. Yeah.
This could be like her like big return, because it's not like Christina Ricci ever went away,
she just had a baby.
But like she could use
something that re-legitimizes her, because I feel like she kind of went and she did like all those Lizzie Borden movies on Lifetime, and like now she needs like a good quality like hit HBO show.
She did that Zelda Fitzgerald show.
Yeah, I watched that.
I didn't love it.
It was all right.
This is her Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Get on board.
This is yes. Oh, make it like a Bridgerton.
I want explicit sex in this show.
Yes.
Let me tell you.
Yes. Go.
Because things were wild in this woman's bedchamber. Like they had to have been.
Honey, she had a merkin to cover all her
had to have been. This is so funny, because this leads me into what I watched, because this week I watched a new crime thing on Netflix. It was the crime story
I watched that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I watched that.
Yeah. So it's all about like, 70s New York, and how like people were literally having live sex in clubs and peep shows and stuff like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, like people were like dirty. And then I was like, no, you know what? People then were not like, it's different now, because we carry that same shit in our pocket on our phone. And then your story is making me think,
no, they've been this way forever.
People have always been.
Yes.
Always. So yeah, I kind of disagreed with the main theory of that show, where it's just like, oh, all this stuff happened because of the peep shows. And I was like, maybe part of it, but I don't think that's the sole reason. I mean, I think, it was wild to see. I was like,
but I mean, they always talk about how like French court was debaucherous.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that went on was just bananas.
You love to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have rewatched all of the Scream movies in preparation to see the new one.
Yes.
I'm really excited. I haven't seen the new one yet, but I went and I've rewatched 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Ooh,
and that is one of, please do it. They're all on my Vudu. It is one of my favorite horror series of all time. I just think that it is so much fun. I think that Sydney Prescott is like the best final girl. I love her.
Yes.
So I can't wait to go see the new one. And then I also I've watched the first 2 episodes of the new Queer Eye. Oh, did I bawl watching the second episode?
Haven't seen it.
With Angel.
Oh, I've watched all of them. Every single episode has made me cry. The first episode, when they show her hair at the end. Tears, honey. Tears. So
it's beautiful.
It's so good. We need them.
Please.
To
I
get
know.
through
I'm
this
like
pandemic, because it really does make me feel like there is good in the world, and that is what I need. So yeah, it's 10 episodes of brilliance.
This grouping, this out or this version, I guess, of Queer Eye has been absolutely delightful. Like it's been fucking T to B. There's not been a miss for me. Not one episode where it's just top to bottom. Right. So good.
They're a great, like whoever did the casting for this new grouping of Queer Eye, they did such a good job finding people who have great chemistry together, and they like bounce off of each other really, really well.
Right.
Like they play off of each other really well. Oh, it's mwah,
I gotta
lovely.
be honest with you, Tan French. Like honestly, like I would French kiss his face right off of him. He's so hot. He does not want to kiss me, but I do want to kiss him.
Aggressively,
me too.
attracted to him.
Oh
like,
God, the accent, just everything.
hair.
I just want
the hair on him.
the way he
stop it. Like I just want to hug his entire body, real hard,
real hard. I also love the fact that this season their dog is a baby. I love it. Neon, I'm here for that. I just love that they're highlighting pit bulls because there's so much like anti pit bull stigma and shit. So that was nice too. Everything about it is great. Go watch it. Make yourself smile and cry in
an inspiring way. I tell you, that second episode with Angel, like that.
Don't tell me. I haven't seen it.
I won't tell you, but there's just an interaction with a parent. Where you're just like, oh.
Yeah. It's that was beautiful. Anyways, yes, go watch that. But hey, if you've got stuff that we should watch, if you want to reach out with bad date stories full of milk jars and acid trips, because we love them, go to our one-stop shop of website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com. And we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.